Hey guys, it's KJM, and I just finished doing a review for last night's Countdown to Christmas Hanukkah movie, Round and Round. So go check out that review if you haven't. All right, Round and Round actually sparked an interesting conversation between Megan and I thought like this is a great way for you guys to get to know me and how I review these movies, how I rate them, some of the things that I think about. For those of you that were with me last year when I started on this journey really started to hold Hallmark accountable to their new mission of diversity and inclusion. That definitely means gay couples, Black couples, Asian couples, Hispanic couples, different storytelling, different cultures. That's all part of diversity and inclusion. So if we're in Norway, or we're in England, or we're in Germany, then, you know, those things all go into diversity and inclusion. And that is like my ultimate mission. But when I'm watching, I told you guys, I write. So I am a writer, probably not someone who could do like Hallmark style stuff, because I'm more like HBO Max, HBO call me. But Hallmark is like a true passion of mine. So how do I come up with rating the movies? Diversity and inclusion is a huge part. Even if I don't mention it in every single review, I take it into consideration when I am scoring. If you're telling a story about military families, like Christmas with a Kiss did, and that movie was just okay for me, but it got some extra points for showing positive Black family traditions, and then also extra points for showing that military families also serve right along with their military loved one that is deployed. I think those stories are important. Now, did Christmas with a Kiss execute it as well as I would like? No, but I gave it the extra 2 points for those two reasons. That diversity and inclusion really matters. I also think about, can the average Hallmark viewer, so I'm going to say like, you know, probably someone 50 and up, can they follow the movie? So for example, Christmas on Cherry Lane, I gave a 9 out of 10, and it had that This Is Us feeling. And I was like, yes, this movie is great. But do you know why it lost a point? Baby, between the time jumps, 1973, 1999, 2023. I personally love the time jumps, but I had to warn Megan that this is not the type of movie where you could be like texting and then on social media and watching it and being able to follow it. You have to have your complete focus. Baby, if you blink, you miss a decade. And I think like the average Hallmark viewer will probably have a very hard time keeping up with this movie if they're not 100% locked in. I immediately knew within the first 20 minutes that we're dealing with a time jump situation and that I needed to pay attention. I DVR these movies so I could just rewind them if something else is going on. But the average Hallmark viewer may not have a DVR. And so I do go under those Hallmark Facebook posts and see, you know, some of the things I'm looking for is just to see what the average viewer struggled with. And if I see like, oh my God, I couldn't follow, I got so confused or whatever. So I think Christmas on Cherry Lane could have used probably a narrator to help the older generation kind of follow along. Now, do I think a narrator would have made the movie better? No. I think the movie was damn near perfect the way how it was, but that's for me personally. When I'm doing a review, I also read the comments. Sometimes I read them after I do the review, but I read the comments. I try to read them, you know, before I do the review so that I can take that into consideration, and hopefully Hallmark is like watching. I know I've heard from some executive producers, I've heard from some writers, and I've heard from some actors this Countdown to Christmas, Miracle of Christmas 2023 season. So definitely the writers, the money people, the actors, they are watching. I don't know who else could be watching this. So I take that all into consideration, even if it's not something that frustrated me. So Round and Round, I'm able to follow Rachel's quick-witted, you know, talking, because I can be a very fast talker, but I was watching it 5:30 this morning, and I was not in the mood for this because I knew I needed to go work out. Like, I needed to go do a bunch of stuff, and I don't got no time for the rewinding. So I just thought like her speech was ultimately super fast, and that if you're not paying attention, and like at 5:30 in the morning, I have nothing else to be doing except meditating and talking to God. And that's how I was able to kind of follow the character from round and round. So I just wanted to let you guys know, like, I think of the acting, I think of the writing. Is the script slow? Like, you know, Magic and Mistletoe, I actually heard from that writer, and shout out to her. And, you know, I thought it was a decent premise, but I just thought there were some holes in the writing. I look at the writing, I look at the acting, I look at if the leads have chemistry, I look for the diversity and inclusion. I look for, if I'm a little bit distracted, can I follow along? I try to look at some of the things that other Hallmarkies are saying about the movie and really consider if it's a reasonable critique, in my opinion. So Megan always says that she scores harsher, and she does, but I think she bases it on just, is she entertained? Baby, if I was doing that, there would be a lot of Hallmark movies I'd be giving ones and twos. But for the love of Hallmark and for what we're being given during this Christmas season, I do think there's some spectacular things, and I do think that there are some movies that it's worth looking deeper into the premise and looking into the lighting. Like, I took a film class in high school, and that really turned me into, you know, really had me in tune with lighting, how the playing of lighting, especially in the old school black and white movies, like lighting really depicted a lot of things, a mood. Is it dark? Is it light? Are we seeing someone in the shadows? So yeah, when I score, and I try my very best to not give anything like a 0.5. So I'm on a 1 to 10 scale. And it was so hard because I felt like Round and Round was probably like a 7.5, but I upped it to an 8 because literally they're telling a unique story for Hanukkah. And then they also had like a lesbian couple up in there. And I just thought, okay, this is a lot of diversity and inclusion. And I just thought, it showed me a family, a culture. I learned some things. And I also thought it was just quick-witted and funny. So yeah, I don't just do these reviews and be like, am I entertained? Because there are, I'd say, a large amount of Hallmark movies that I probably just would not watch again. There's a good amount that I would just keep in the background if it was on again. And then there are some, like a Biltmore Christmas, that I will forever keep watching, keep falling in love with, keep learning something new about. And I think Christmas on Cherry Lane is going to be like that too. I already started rewatching to see if there were some things that I missed. This movie, Christmas on Cherry Lane, the reason why it's in the background right now is because I thought it was just my toughest review. There's a lot of characters to remember, and the names were super important in this movie. So I don't think I got it like 100% correct, but I think I got it like 98% correct of who I was talking about and what they were doing at the time. But this was definitely the most ambitious review I think I have done to date because the names of the characters really mattered. A lot of times if I mess up the name or I forget the name or I'm just like, hey, I didn't even bother learning these people's names, it's not that important to the characters. But for this Is Us feel, This Is Christmas feel on Hallmark, the names mattered, the characters mattered, where they were from mattered, where they were headed to mattered. So it was kind of a lot of that. But anyway, I just wanted to give you like a little, a little preview of how I come up with my scoring. One of the things I also love to do is to really determine how a movie makes me feel. Like, how do I feel at the end of it? And there were a couple movies this year, My Norwegian Holiday, A Biltmore Christmas, that Christmas on Cherry Lane, you know, that literally made me, there were certain characters in those movies that really made me believe in love again or want to believe in love again and made me think about maybe opening up and starting to date again and stuff like that. So I look at all of those things. And it is tough because when I hear from the writers, the actors, and they, you know, and they've listened to my tough criticism, I know that one day that's going to be me. Someone's going to be watching my work and they're going to have their own thoughts. And I just hope the criticism can stay constructive. I try to be constructive. Every now and then I fall off of that wagon. All right, guys, it's KJM. This is how I do the reviews. This is me. Thank you guys so much for choosing me to guide you through this Christmas season. This has been such a blast, and I think we have 5 more movies left between the 2 Hallmark channels, and I can't wait to deliver those reviews for you. And I'm out.